Hello everyone, Matt here. Today in this video we're going to be looking at another amazing pedal from Meris, the Mercury7 Reverb. This thing is totally stellar. It pulls out so many wonderful tones from the spectrum of reverb, it's insane. This thing is just out of this world. Meris is ahead of the game on so many levels. Their alt functions for their pedals alone just completely blow my head off. They're most popularly known for the Autobit Junior pedal, but they have other ones like the Hydra pitch shifter, the Polymoon delay, and the Enzo synth engine, which I've also done a video on. I'll leave a link to in the description. You should check it out. So I'm playing through a LTD F50 directly into the Mercury7, directly into an AC15. So let's check into it. Alright, so we have 6 knobs. Up here we have space decay, like sustain, modulate, that's kind of obvious, mix, obvious as well, just the volume, low and high frequency, how well the low or high notes react with the reverb signal, and then finally pitch vector, what happens to your reverb signal as it's playing. It may go an octave below, it might just fall gradually, rise gradually. They have a 5th up and then the shimmer setting. That's my personal favorite. We have 2 types of reverb, cathedra, more like a hall style setting, and then ultraplate, what it's on right now, more of a room type of reverb. And this is just our regular bypass switch, and then here we have our swell function. This is like a volume swell for each note, very self-explanatory but also very cool. Now, if you're familiar with Meris pedals, you're familiar with the Alt knob, but if you're not, or button, I'm sorry, if you're not, the Alt button controls, well basically you hold this down for 3 seconds and then you move a knob. Each knob has its own separate function other than what it does normally. For example, the pitch vector, apart from controlling what happens to the reverb, the Alt function for that is setting the attack time for the swell. So if you want your swell to go a little faster or a little slower, using the Alt function of the pitch vector will do that. Now in this particular video, I'm going to be showing you a couple of my settings, and we're going to be exploring some soundscape style things with this pedal. So the first thing that I would like to look at is what it sounds like with everything all the way off. We're going to gradually add some stuff in. So here's my clean signal. So let's click the pedal on, we won't hear anything. So let's add some mix, halfway. Let's add some sustain, halfway. Let's see if we can hear something yet. Slightly. Let's add modulation, and let's put the sustain at 3 o'clock. Let's see what happens now. So a little bit more responsive. Let's listen to these same settings on the cathedra. So long trails with the cathedra. Very, very nice stuff. Now let's start exploring some of these things. Let's add in some high frequency. So our high notes are going to be very responsive, and we'll just turn the low notes up a little bit. In fact, let's raise this some more. So we should almost get a little bit of a shimmer sound out of this without actually using it on the pitch vector. Okay, so let's leave that where it is. Let's add in some of the low frequency. And then let's hear that. So there's a lot more low end in the reverb signal. Now let's put the pitch vector on the shimmer setting. So all the way, here we go. So very cool. Obviously it shimmers, but alright, now let's listen to what that sounds like on ultra plate. So the room type reverb. So not quite as much sustain. Let's take the sustain all the way up and let's listen to that. So extra long reverb trails last for a long time. Very cool stuff. Now the next thing I would like to look at is almost this exact same settings, but we're going to turn the pitch vector to where it's going a fifth up. So our reverb signal will be traveling a fifth above our normal signal, so you're going to get some pretty insane sounds. I'm going to dial back our frequency knobs here just so that they don't interfere with what I'm trying to show you. So I'm going to play some really abstract chords so you can really hear the fifth at work here. That was still too much of that. So going a fifth up is definitely, it's awesome. Sounds very good. So the pitch vector is what essentially is like the blood and guts of this pedal to me. It is what controls the reverb like signal after you played. You can do so many things with it. In fact, let's check out this same thing, but we're gonna take the pitch down. And this should remind you of another really famous pitch shifting pedal that's on the market right now. So very cool stuff. Now, what I'd like to really show off is the difference in the low and high frequency. So we're going to take this all the way off. And we're going to explore some of the things we can do with this. So we'll start with the high frequency first. I want to turn it all the way up. Now let's try turning up the low frequency all the way as well. Now if you add the shimmer to that, things get very crazy. I'm a big fan of the shimmer. Very cool stuff. Now, one of the awesome things about this pedal is if you are using the alt functions, you can get some really nice vibrato out of the high frequency knob. It makes for some really haunting stuff. Let me see if I can't dial that in. There it is. So it's very subtle, but just in the mix enough to be very haunting with this reverb. So again, if you're familiar with Meris pedals, to turn the alt functions off after you've used them, all you have to do is hold the alt button for 3 seconds and then move the desired knob that you're trying to change, and it will return back to normal. Alright, so that does it for the Mercury 7. Make sure you check out my video on the Enzo if you're into that kind of stuff as well. If you have any questions about any of my gear, anything at all, really in the video at all, please drop me a line in the comment section below. I'd love to chat with you for a bit. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.